I owe my professional career to the MFP program. I was awarded the MFP Fellowship, I can't remember now, 20 years ago, 17 years ago, when I was a second-year doctoral student. I initially signed up because it was a fellowship for minorities and it provided a stipend, but I didn't know what else it really meant. And so once I started attending conferences and the fellowship supported some of those trips, it supported my attending conferences, other conferences, it supported my taking a summer course in statistics. And unbeknown to me, what I was doing is networking, attending to all these conferences, meeting all these people. And one of those, CSWE actually had a guest speaker, still remember, Clarissa Canino, a psychologist from Puerto Rico who was a very well-funded NIMH researcher, who gave her talk, and then she said, "Oh, I'm going to have lunch right in where she gave the talk. And she brought her lunch, and she sat, and a bunch of us went and got our lunch, and she said, join me. So we joined her. This is after a big talk that she gave. And the place was crowded, but about 15 of us joined her. And as we introduced ourselves and we were talking, she said, she got interested in me, and she said, what, do you have your CV with you? And I had a copy, so I ran to my room, brought it back, gave it to her. She said, because she was waiting to hear from an NIMH-funded application she had submitted, and she asked me if I would work with her once I graduated, which was still a year or two ahead. And so I said, well, I would consider it. At the time I was in Hawaii. I would move from Hawaii to Puerto Rico, not a bad idea. I never heard from her, and a year and a half later, I get an email from her who says, I never got that NIMH project. And first of all, it surprised me. She remembered me. We met for ad hoc lunch. But she said, I have a friend, Jim Anthony, who is at Johns Hopkins University, who just got a NIDA funded project to do this work in Central America and South America, and he's looking for someone that I think you should talk to. I think you meet the qualifications. I gave him a great recommendation. This woman barely knew me. Again, thanks to CSWE. All the, supporting me to attend these conferences, always telling us to take advantage of activities, so I stayed for lunch. I could have gone, and my wife was traveling with me. I could have gone and had lunch with my wife, do something else, which sometimes we do when we go to conferences. Next thing I know, I called Jim Anthony. He is a world-renowned epidemiologist, and soon after that, I'm doing a postdoc at Hopkins, traveling all over Latin America, South America. Well, all my work is with underserved minority populations, and it had started prior to the MFP program, but the MFP strengthened it because it gave, when I would do the networking, when I would attend conferences, the additional workshops that were recommended that I take by the MFP leadership were all meant to strengthen that area of research. So sometimes you're in places where you feel like you're the only one doing this work or paying attention to it, but being part of this group gave it vitality, gave me support, and it made it look normal as opposed to stand out, like I'm the only one asking these questions. And so it was very important, very empowering, actually. One of my closest friends, Mike Spencer, is an MFP Fellow, and he's Hawaiian. I went to school in Hawaii, but we met at a conference, actually, not in Hawaii, and we became friends. And along with a few other people, we were all in the job market at the same time, and we would share notes. We were interviewing with the same places, and we afterwards we would call and say, so what did they ask you, and how did that feel, and what should I do to be better prepared? So we shared everything. When we were interviewing, we would say, what offer did they give you? Should I ask for more money? What should I ask for a course buyout? What do you think? And we would just openly share that. So again, huge support, being able to call one another and trust each other that we would share accurate information and help each other out. We were, we're kind of competing with one another because we want the same jobs, but because of the fellowship, some of us, not everyone, because the fellowship is big, so I didn't make friends with everyone, but the ones that I did, it was powerful. We always had a blast. We would get together, the MFP Fellows, groups of us would do that, and go and hang out together. We'd go walking around town and go to a restaurant, and there was there were always non-MFP people, but there was always 3, 4 of us, and we would do that year after year. And again, it gave us a place to connect, a place to feel warm, supported, especially when we're interviewing, we're so stressful and we're exhausted and uncertain of our future. And hanging out with these folks was kept us going. It was energizing.